Well, thank you very much. Thank you so much. Of course, we are talking to you, Dr. Darian Green, right now. We're talking about the dangers that excessive use of your cell phone could pose to your health. In fact, something called Technic that I haven't heard about, Doctor. What is Technic all about, and how can it be, or how can it affect us using phones?
Yeah, it's a less common way of describing it. And the chiropractors like using the term forward head posturing. So that means obviously putting your head forward, looking down at the screen of your cell phone for prolonged periods of time. If you think about the car, for example, besides getting motion sickness from staring at the screen, a lot of people obviously sit at a desk or whatever, and their necks are constantly, even on a couch, they're flexed. In other words, you're putting it down and tilted forward as you try and read the screen.
Yeah.
I mean, the fonts are really not that big on your screen, so you actually do strain a little bit to actually see.
Yeah.
And you'll notice that when you do strain, you tend to tilt your head forward. That is like a woman wearing stilettos for a long period of time. If you look at what happens to the spine, the C-spine, the neck, if you look at what happens with the posture tilt and the alignment of the spine and the distribution of weight that actually occurs, through the spine as it moves down to the thorax and then the lower spine onto your hips, you'll find that that curve, which is called a lordosis, is actually lost. So you have a loss of lordosis at the level of the neck with associated spasm on either side, decreased maneuverability and movement afterwards. And that's from prolonged periods in that position.
What are some of the first telltale signs that you might be developing FHP, this forward head posture?
So you could have pain, specifically pain, stiffness of the neck, and then if there's significant compression of the nerves as they exit the level of the neck, you would have sharp electric-like signals or pains radiating down the arms as well.
Down your arms. Yeah. And so in terms of the long-term effects of this condition, what could those be?
Well, the hunchback of Notre Dame. You get posture defects that are quite significant. You'll notice that the bochelrug, as they call it. So that's important. You also will notice then things like compensatory behaviors of the muscles behind your scapula, for example, where you have asymmetry of those muscle groups from other muscles compensating to try and stabilize the spine. And that can affect, obviously, the way that you end up doing sport and your other activities. So it's significant. All
right, we've got a caller on the line calling us from George, and this is George, excuse me. Hello, George. And George says, Doctor, that he sends between 500 and 1,000 texts a day because of the kind of work that he does, and he's experiencing a lot of pain. George, this is true, right?
Wow.
Yes, it is.
And where do you experience this pain specifically?
It's basically in my wrist. The pain goes, sometimes the pain shoots up from my hands up towards my shoulders. And I mean, it's so sore sometimes that I can't even close my hands to open it. That's how sore it is sometimes.
Wow. All right. So what is this symptomatic of?
So we discussed de Quervain's tendinitis. That could be that if the pain's at the base of the thumb with sharp electric pain shooting up into the forearm. When you obviously turn the wrist, for example, and turn it out, that's one of the telltale signs of that condition, which is called Finkelstein's test. And he might be having that, but from just the amount that he's texting, I mean, they're going to be
1,000 a day.
1,000 a day. There must certainly be a lot of strain on the postural neck muscles that stabilize his neck to keep it in the upright position. And obviously, from even looking down. I wonder, modifications-wise, if he could use, for example, a screen, rather, a representation from his cell phone onto a bigger screen, do some ergonomical things of looking at his chair position, and also you get those laptop holders that tilt up the screen a little bit better to help him with that. I think those would be useful things. Use a keypad, instead of using the phone's keypad to type your texts.
We'll continue this conversation with Dr. Darian Green right after the break. Stay tuned.